I request the dignitaries to kindly come over to the dais. Learning is an ongoing process, and our profession demands an unending learning, which is tiresome yet most enriching. Good evening to one and all present here. Today, we have gathered here for the inaugural ceremony of Continuing Legal Education Program 2023, organized by the Kerala High Court Advocates Association. To begin with, I request everyone to rise for a silent prayer. Thank you all. I take this opportunity to invite Advocate Naveen T, Secretary, KHCAA, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you. Good evening. As we do, the Vice President of our association, Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S.V. Bhatti, Honorable Justice, Mr. Justice Bechu, Kurian Thomas, Honorable Judge, Mr. Justice Govinda Sir, T.P. Shijis, Executive Committee Member, respected seniors, esteemed members of the bar, members of Registry, Clerks Association, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are gathered here to witness the inaugural ceremony of Continuing Legal Education Program 2023 and also to hear from Honorable Mr. Justice Bechu Kurian Thomas about the topic on the advocacy, a judge's perspective. CLE was initially commenced in the year 2011. Ever since, CLE was very helpful to many of the young lawyers, not just to perform in the court, but also to get selection in many esteemed posts like municipal magistrate, district judges, etc. So, this time the association decided to commence, though slightly late, we decided to start this CLE program. I am not taking much of your time. Our Honorable Chief Justice graciously consented to inaugurate CLE 2023. I, on behalf of the association and all those who are here, wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, to this function. As I said earlier, the topic on today's topic is advocacy, a judge's perspective. I am very sure that it will be very informative as well as very interesting. We are very grateful to you, sir, for taking us to various aspects of this subject. I, on behalf of the association and also on behalf of all gathered here, warmly welcome you, sir, Honorable Justice Mr. Bechu Thomas. On an official note, I also welcome our Vice President S. Bechu as well as Committee Member Shijis Preeti to this gathering. I warmly welcome Honorable Justice Mr. Justice Govinda Sir, respected seniors, other esteemed members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you all once again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to invite Advocate Bechu S, Vice President, KHCAA, to deliver the presidential address.
Honorable Mr. Justice S.V. Bhatti, Chief Justice High Court of Kerala, Honorable Mr. Justice Bechu Kurian Thomas, Honorable Mr. Justice Govinda Sir, Secretary of the Association Today we are on a momentous occasion. Of course, it's a silent occasion where we start the beginning of continuing legal education program for the year 2023. I am not going to take much of your time, but I will intend to explain the intentions of this year's program when we start a new year of equipping our members of the bar with more sophisticated tools of legal education. This year we will be focusing more on practice-oriented areas. As we all know, law is a very evolving subject, and recently in the new ages it has been evolving like anything, that each year, each day, new laws and new techniques, technologies are being inducted into the justice dispensation system. More than a social science subject, law has now is more related to science, technology, and other evolving branches, where mere knowledge of law alone will not take a member of the bar, a lawyer, to next distance that he is going to cover. Of course, we are expecting more members into this function, but I don't know why our members have turned out. Anyhow, we are optimistic that in coming days, more of our members will make use of this system and equip themselves with new advanced tools which will take them forward in the legal profession. We will not be, I can assure you that this year, we will not be boring you with by repeating the classrooms that you have already passed in the colleges. We will be presenting you with diverse views on each subject, and it will be definitely discussion sessions and workshops which will be enabling you to explore new areas of practice which will be taking our profession forward. I request my young brothers who are sitting here to make full use of this opportunity and to practice, enter into practice, exploring new areas, and make full use of this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to invite Honorable Mr. Justice S.V. Bhatti, Chief Justice, High Court of Kerala, to deliver the inaugural address, and I request you, sir, to inaugurate the function officially by lighting the lamp. I request you, sir, to deliver the inaugural address.
My esteemed brothers, Justice Bechu, Justice Gopi, the esteemed committee members of Kerala High Court Advocates Association, and all the senior advocates, the young lawyers, budding lawyers, aspiring professionals, one and all, very good evening. About 10 days back, the Vice President, Mr. Bechu, and Ms. Nani, together with the Executive Committee members, they met me in the chamber and have explained to me the idea of taking a continuing legal education for and on behalf of the committee for the benefit of particularly younger generation of lawyers. Their ideas are also very grandiose after seeing the potentials of youngsters in this bar. By undertaking this continuing legal education program, they have set a very huge task of grooming lawyers depth in advocacy, having complete control as lawyers and acquit themselves as good professionals, and continue to keep the flag of this High Court flying. The details during and in the course of this continuing legal education, all of you will come to know. Any inaugural address is meant to keep the program going and inspire the audience continuing to participate in the program undertaken by the organizers. Today, my role has become one of the one. The Vice President and the Secretary, they met me in the chamber and said the participation of many lawyers is not very encouraging, sir, but a few of them have come, we will make it beginning. I told them an anecdote which I know very personally, that when one of the greatest speakers on Bhatti is from the state of Kerala, Swami Chinmayananda, when he began his career as a speaker on Bhatti, I asked the Vice President, what would be the probable number of audience for whom he has delivered Bhatti over a period of 15 days or 20 days. He went into hundreds. I told him it was only 10. Why I am saying is, this number of anything less today should not discourage you, but the way how you are going to take this program forward, I am sure, as people were thronging to attend the speeches of Swami Chinmayananda, the lectures conducted by this association will also be attended. So first I have to give inspiration to this side, then come to that side for another speech. Dear students, I say as students, the logic is, this program is exclusively meant for the budding lawyers. People in the age group of plus 50, early 60s like me, we have one disadvantage. As children, we started growing up completely listening to our elders in the family, parents in the family. After we entered the profession, we we were literally walking in the footsteps of our seniors for a considerably long time. Then we have to listen to the parents, listen to the seniors, and grow in whichever way we could do. We have no regrets on it for following it so religiously. The next difficulty our generation has is we have to listen to youngsters also. At home, I think it will be the common reaction at most of the places. People may be hesitant to speak about it. Parents try to tell anything to the children. Their quick response is, you don't know. Being children, you can't react, you can't try to convince them. And we also know how difficult to convince our own children with a strong viewpoint we hold on any issue. Not that we should agree. We were young, we were listening to them, understanding, to the extent we can do, we were doing, and not possible, we were discussing. Now the problem is straight away we receive the answer no. That be the case, allowing 60 people to sit here and say, I am going to give you the checklist. All of you follow this again, that's another big problem in this inaugural address. Second problem. Third problem is, all of you are rated either by Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all their successors. You don't have faith in the seniors who handle the court in the court, the seniors who sway the judges from 0 to 100, 100 to plus, take the relief, etc. So that being the case, my inaugural address should be in such a way that I must tell you the profit all of you will have by attending to these continuing education legal programs. It's as simple as this. This is a very serious topic. Unless you apply your mind to it, you won't understand the seriousness of the expression used by the association. Regular reading habit, first and foremost, required for any of the professionals. This is all the more so important in the case of lawyers, because you can never expect which is the subject in which you will be called upon to address next week. Which client would come to you after crossing nearly 6,900 lawyers and give you a brief. That time you should be prepared to stand up and argue the case given to you by the client and the law in which that subject is dealing with. Definitely, ChatGPT has also come. You can just put a question, which is the best argument before first court. ChatGPT will give you, you will stand up. You will also get a quick answer from first court. That is not advocacy. The whole effort of the association is only to train your hands, train your mind to stand like a lawyer with heart and mind. Deliver the case which you have accepted and discharge your responsibility as a professional. Winning, losing, this is part of everyday's affair for a professional. That too after he becomes busy. And it's like taking balance sheet every day, one loss, next day comes, you will be arguing. But the thing is, whether I have discharged my responsibility correctly or not is the question. Now coming to the benefit portion of it, I am not an alien to such a situation. When I had about 1 year standing, the association of Andhra Pradesh High Court, they have continuously conducted this continuing legal program for about 1 year. I was one of those few lawyers who has attended completely all the sessions conducted by the association. Looking back at it, I can tell you, this is going to be of greatest use to the budding lawyers in their journey in the profession. For example, today's topic you may take up advocacy and a judge's perspective. This is a trade secret which we should not be sharing with you so that you trouble us more. But why still we want to share this knowledge with you? Logic is simple. We also want the best from that side. As we try to understand you, you try to understand us. This is only one thing. Yet another topic that comes to my mind is justice according to law or law according to justice. I have heard the speeches of one of the best judges from the High Court. It started around 4:30, went up to 6 o'clock. Each judge stood firm to his ground. Still I remember as judges how they balance the issue in arriving at which side has justice and how to mold the relief according to law. As simple as this. Accepting this little narrative, slightly overshooting into more than the time that is granted to me, my view is the effort of the association is to make the members more strong, vibrant and useful to the society. As I said in the beginning, though the attendance now is scattered and scanty, down the road the type of lectures that would be delivered from this place, I am sure the number will increase. Participants would certainly get benefited. I wish each one of the participants very all the best. I thank the association for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this very motivating inaugural message. Today, we've gathered here for the continuing legal education session. Thank you, sir. Today we have gathered here for the continuing legal education session by Honorable Mr. Justice Bechu, Kurian Thomas, Judge, High Court of Kerala, on the topic Advocacy, a Judge's Perspective. I wholeheartedly invite you, sir, and I request you to take over the session.
Thank you. The President of the Association, Bechu, Secretary Nani, Cheif, other members of this August Association, my young friends in my senior members of the bar, and young friends in the profession, who's aspiring and who's already started. And I would like to confess that continuing legal education is a program which is quite close to my heart. I've always believed that irrespective of what stage you are in your life, either as a junior lawyer, a middle-aged lawyer, a senior lawyer, or judge, or even a retired person, legal education must always be continued. It is essential for everyone to be continuously filled with different ideas, different thoughts, and new legal visions. Because law is always developing a living organism, continuing to develop day by day. Therefore, as Honorable Chief Justice commended the association, I would also follow suit and commend the association for commencing this program. Though a short notice, I thought that I should not lose an opportunity to sit with our Chief Justice, which I was sharing with him for some time back. So I thought I should certainly grab this opportunity and speak on a topic which I am certain that all of you know, you're all familiar with advocacy. There is nothing much I could give you except for certain thoughts which I have tried to gather and arrange myself. We've all been speaking and hearing about advocacy. Could somebody tell me what is actually advocacy? Somebody, the younger members of the bar. Don't be scared about speaking out. You're all lawyers. You are called upon to stand on your feet and argue. Can somebody say what is advocacy? What is your perception about advocacy? No one?
Standing up for someone else's right.
Standing up for someone else's right. Very good. Anything else? Anything else?
The art of getting one's argument across to the principle.
The art of getting one's,
Argument's perspective to the judge.
yes, partly yes. Protecting parties' interests, correct? Well, all these answers, all these three answers are actually correct. It is, I would put it in my way, in my words, as it being an art of persuading the others to follow your cause. According to me, it is the art of persuading others to follow your cause. Advocacy happens in every field, not just in the legal field. It happens in every field. Whenever you want something, another person to be persuaded and follow your cause, there is an advocacy. A child, an infant, does his advocacy, his or her advocacy by his crying. As the children grow up, they pester their parents by threats, as Justice Bhatti put it. I would rephrase it and say, we lived at a time when we were scared about our parents, and now we live in a time when we are scared of our children. We've always been living a scared life. So our children now, at present, scare us, threaten us, and get their way out. That is also advocacy. In the legal field, advocacy is the art of persuading the decision maker to follow your cause, to come in line with your cause. So an advocate is actually an artist. He's actually painting a picture in the mind of the decision maker. How does he paint the picture? By use of his forceful arguments, by the power of his logic. He persuades the judge, the decision maker, to come in his way. In that process, the mind of the decision maker is a canvas over which the advocate as an artist draws the beautiful picture, or tries to draw that beautiful picture. The colors, the paint, the brush, all those matter immeasurably to create the beauty in that art. I mentioned that the canvas where you draw that art as a lawyer, as an advocate, is the mind of the decision maker, the mind of the judge. As the canvas varies, the type of canvas, the surface quality of the canvas, all are important while creating that beautiful picture or attempting to create that beautiful picture. Unless an artist understands what is the type of canvas over which he is drawing, what is the surface quality of that canvas over which he is going to draw, he will not be able to create a beautiful picture. Therefore, as an advocate, the first and foremost step in the process of your advocacy, I would say, is that learn the judge. Learn the court. One erudite and renowned lawyer of this court, who later became a Supreme Court judge, who had extensive practice, who I've never seen him argue. I've heard he used to run from court to court, he was told by his even more renowned senior when he stepped into this profession not to argue a case for first 6 months. I've heard this from seniors in this profession. He was told, don't argue a case, but sit in a court for the first 6 months, learn every court. So for the first 6 months, from morning 10 o'clock or 10:30, I think it was 10:30 then, 10:30 to 4 o'clock, he used to sit in a court, learn how the judge was. That learning process, learning of the court, helped him, I'm told, immeasurably. There was a time when he used to change his drafting, his pleadings, depending upon the judge who's been allotted the roster. If there is a change in roster and the file is not, and the petition had not been filed, he would change the pleadings because he knew what the judge wanted. After becoming a judge, I realized that I had failed as a professional lawyer in understanding and learning what the court wanted, or how the court was. I wish now, looking back in my career as a lawyer, that had I understood the court every time, for every case, I probably could have been more successful. I could have probably won more cases for my clients. I could have won the cases that I've lost, and that are far too many. So understanding the court is one of the first steps a lawyer must do. How do you understand the court? The only way to understand the court is sit in that court. The body language of the court, the facial expressions of the judge, his tone, when does he get angry, when is he soft, when does he get persuaded, what tone would cater to his interest. Which means a successful pleader, a successful advocate. An art of advocacy requires catering to the self-interest of the listener. Now, we must understand one thing. This is one of the effective tools of communication. In communication, they teach that how do you create an effective communication? When is a speaker effective? When you make the other person understand what you're saying. It is not about rhetoric or just rhetoric or an oratorical flourish that may matter on a day in court. It is how do you live up to the expectations of the judge? How do you cater to the interest of the judge? That is where you have to understand and study the judge. The next stage in your advocacy, as you paint that picture, just imagine yourself painting that picture on that canvas. Now you've got the canvas, you've understood what is a canvas, you've understood what is the quality of the canvas, the surface quality, how does it absorb, what all pictures, paints and type of brushes or crayons or paints that will be absorbed in that surface. You have to identify what colors would make your art beautiful. What would be the color that would cater to that art which you want to project in that canvas? The first and foremost, according to me, in that color is the integrity of the source. I've often wondered, as a young lawyer, I felt that I know more than other lawyer who was arguing a case. Why am I not getting an order? Why is only when the senior comes, he gets an order? The reason I understood, it is the integrity of the source that mattered. When that senior stood up, because of his past experience, the judge in his canvas, in his mind, created that integrity about what he was saying. I will tell you one example. When the famous A.K. Gopalan's case was being argued, it was argued by the father of K.K. Venugopal. I'm told was to travel in a train from Madras to Delhi, carrying a lot of trunks with books and files in it. He was an alien to Supreme Court. He started arguing the case. After a week of argument, MC Setalwal, in a dinner held in that weekend, during the weekend, the then Chief Justice, I think it was Kanya, Justice Kanya, told Mr. Setalwal, the Attorney General, what is this Madrasi arguing all about? The immediate retort was, if you have not understood what he is arguing about, you have not understood what Indian Constitution is all about. It is written that from then onwards, from the next Monday onwards, Justice Kanya and the entire bench to whom this information was passed on started listening with rapt attention about what this Madrasi was arguing all about. Why there became a credibility of its source. As younger lawyers, how do you create this credibility in the mind of the judge? You don't have experience, but you have one thing, the ability to acquire knowledge. A senior lawyer will find it very difficult to comprehend new things, or shy away from what is already established in his mind. But as a youngster, you can bring in a change. That is why law keeps developing. You youngsters bring in the change that law needs, the judge is looking for. Every judge wants to create a judgment, to write a judgment which will be attractive. He wants to project the picture that you have drawn in his mind in the most beautiful manner, for which only you can provide the input. It is your input that matters ultimately. So when you can develop the integrity of the source by your continued studies and research, then you can create in the mind of the judge a beautiful picture. So remember, create and develop integrity of the source from the very beginning. It requires hard work, perseverance, and immense studies. The next point, the next color that you can use is the language. As I said earlier, it is not rhetoric. It need not be an oratorical flourish that would matter. But language has an important thing. You can develop your language by reading books, general books also. I remember about 20 years back, one of the best lawyers in this court, exceptional he was. A judge told him, Mr. So-and-so, of late, your arguments are very blunt. You have become quite superfluous. He's an exceptional lawyer, still practicing, very good in terms of his diction, in terms of his delivery, in terms of his knowledge, everything. But the judge told him, you have become blunt and you are superfluous now. You know what the lawyer said? Yes, sir, I have understood it. I have stopped my reading. I stopped my reading. So my language and my content has become superfluous and blunt. So remember, developing the language is very important. How do you develop the language? Keep reading. Keep reading. I remember when I used to try to read as much as possible, but it never worked out. And of late it has come to practically nil. And once you start wearing spectacles, it's very difficult to read at night also. So this is the time when you're young, read as much as possible. The library. The library is available here. The High Court Library has got an amazing number of books. Please use them. And I'll tell you, from my experience, it may vary from person to person. I found when you read from the books, from the pages, you are able to retain what you read more than what you read from the computer. When you read from the computer, you go into a very pinpointed, singular, specific point. Whereas when you read from the books, you can actually understand more vast area. It will help you understand things better and comprehend and retain things. Well, it differs from person to person, but continue to read not only law books but even general books so that you develop your language. It is said about Palkiwala. If you have listened to Palkiwala's speeches, there is one book which is available where you will get a CD of his speech. It is amazing. There were judges who refused to write judgments immediately after Palkiwala's arguments. They were so carried away by his rhetoric in this language. They said, no, we may not be doing justice to the cause because we are carried away by his language and his amazing rhetoric. And that is an added advantage that you can develop over the time. Over period. Similarly, I once listened to one lawyer here from Delhi. He's still practicing, so I'm not naming him. It was a very complicated case. A friend of mine was instructing the senior counsel from Delhi. I couldn't understand head or tail of what the case was all about. When my friend tried to explain the case to me, just out of curiosity, I wanted to know what this case was all about. So trying to explain. This was in the 14th court of that old High Court building. This lawyer from Supreme Court came in. We were all there trying to listen. Now, in those days, when a senior counsel comes from Delhi or from outside, younger members like us used to gather around the court to listen to his argument. Of late, we don't see that. As a judge, I've not found many junior lawyers listening to the senior counsels who come from outside or from Kerala and sitting there to listen to the arguments. But in those days, it was not like that. I will tell you, in a matter of 5 minutes, I understood when this lawyer started arguing in court. In a matter of 5 minutes, this so complex of a case could easily be understood by even a junior member of this bar. Imagine how easily the judge would have understood. Less said the better. Within a matter of 5 minutes, the lawyer went back with an order in his hand. This was done only by making things simple. What the judge wants is simple things. You try to make it complex, you may lose the target, you may not hit the target. The paint may fade, the picture, the art may fade. Amidst the large volume of work that the judge has to handle every day, if you can make it simple, in simple terms, easy to be comprehended, easy to be understood, you may win the case that day, even if you have a bad case. You should be mindful of the fact that most of the judges work 14 to 16 hours a day. It is amidst these that they are sitting there to listen to your complex arguments. Don't do that. I've often seen, I myself have done this mistake. The moment you get a case as a junior lawyer, you think that if you're able to create an impression with a lot of complex terms, a lot of legal jargons, a lot of legal maxims, you may be impressive. You may be impressive to an extent, but you may not be effective that day. You are paid not to be just impressive, you are paid to be effective. And to be effective, you must be simple. I remember once, I still remember that day, I learned one word. I thought it was a very fancy word. I waited for an opportunity to use that in court. I used that in court. The judge did not understand. I did not get an order. One of my juniors, who was sitting next to me, told me, "Sir, you made the biggest mistake." I said, "Why? Why did you use that word? It was an apt word, but the judge couldn't understand. Nobody in that court could understand." I said, "I read it in some so book. It was so expressive, such a wonderful word, it is so apt." Yes, maybe apt, maybe everything is nice about it, but no one understood you. True. Be in the same level as a judge. Judges differ, like personalities differ. Some are exceptionally good, some are intellectually very high, some comprehend fast, some perceive things fast, some come well read, some are able to grasp the moment a lawyer speaks, some are able to grasp things, some judges, by their very experience, they are able to grasp things by seeing one page. But come down to that level of the judge, or raise your level to the level of the judge, to be effective and to be meaningful. Speaking about language, I once traveled with a senior counsel, one of the lawyers of this bar. Exceptional lawyer he was. I was sitting in the front of the car, I took him to Albi for a case. I was in the first 2 years of my practice. I saw him carrying, and he must have been 65 or more then. I saw him carrying a book of Reader's Digest. I was quite surprised by this senior lawyer, very senior lawyer, designated senior lawyer of this court, one of the most renowned lawyers of this state, carrying a Reader's Digest. So, on our way back after the case, I asked him, sir, why do you carry a Reader's Digest? He said, that's one of my extra readings that helps me to develop my language. Even at 60 or 65, a senior lawyer feels that he must develop his language by reading an extra book called Reader's Digest. Keep this in mind always. And the other lawyer, another lawyer of this bar, M.N. Subbaru Nair, I do not know how many of you would have heard of M.N. Subbaru Nair. M.N. Subbaru Nair, sir, used to carry a lot of books, general reading books, every weekend on Saturday, goes to his farmhouse in Chalapudi, sits there, comes back only on Sunday evening, and within that time he would have read and finished those books. In my final year, for my chamber work, for my court work, I went to only one court, that was sub-court number 2 in Ernakulam District Court. It was not like the present day where you have to come to court every day as an intern. We decide when to go, where to go, how to go. I went to one court. It was an afternoon session. I saw one lawyer arguing. I still remember those words. In fact, I had said this earlier also. This was the argument that he said. During childbirth, the mother and the child are traveling to the valley of shadow of death. One step to the right, both may live. One step to the left, both may die. Both or one of them may die. I still remember this is the exact verbatim reproduction of what he argued. I don't remember anything else. I was awestruck with this. I never imagined that a trial court lawyer, due to my inexperience, I never realized that a trial court lawyer could argue such chaste English and so attractively. Because much later I realized it was none other than M.N. Subbaru Nair. The reason is extraordinary. His continuous attempt to develop his language. It impressed everyone in that court. It used to impress everyone in this court. So develop the language. The next color that you can use is clarity of thought. Clarity of thought. Think about your case. A judge wants clear thinking. The moment a lawyer is confused, the judge is able to understand. I thought the judge will not be, as a lawyer, I always thought the judge will not be able to understand. I am ill prepared. I was wrong, and if you have such a feeling, remind yourself you are wrong. The judge will immediately, the first 5 seconds, the judge will understand whether you are prepared or not. If you have noticed the courts, you would have seen sometimes the judges saying, yes, counsel, do you want some time? I'll have it next week. It could be an indulgence being shown to you. If you are a junior lawyer, the judge may forgive you. If you are a senior lawyer, well, the judge may indulge in granting you an adjournment, but it is not forgivable. Your clarity of thought will be reflected in your words, and how do you clear yourself? Think about your case. Sri S. Narayan Koti, one of the other lawyers of this bar. So these are all lawyers we miss. They used to roam around this court like real emperors of law. They used to reign this court. He used to say, he used to tell junior lawyers, don't study much about your case, don't read the briefs. Think about your case. If you're able to think about your case, you'll be able to develop your arguments much better. You'll be able to perform better in court. He said, he said, I think about my cases every day when I go for my morning walks. That is where I formulate my arguments. That is where I get clarity of my thought, clarity of my expressions. So think, youngsters, think about your case every opportunity you get before you go to sleep, while having a bath, while doing something, while sitting in your office. Think about your case while going for a morning walk so that you develop clarity of thought. Structure your arguments. The next color in your art should be structure your arguments. If you can structure your arguments 1, 2, 3, 4 and be brief, certainly the beauty of the beauty will be revealed in the canvas. And one more thing, prepare notes. It is essential to prepare notes. Of late, I don't come across anyone having prepared notes. I was taught when I was a youngster that we should prepare notes. I used to do that religiously. I was told my father's senior even used to prepare notes. Just to tell you, my father's senior's first junior was Justice Cheif. He used to prepare notes in such a manner. Show facial expression, show surprise, show gestures. Such was the meticulous preparation in the yesteryears as senior members of the bar used to. Where have we reached? I don't think in the last 3 years of my judgeship I have come across anyone carrying notes in my court. Except you. Yes, I should certainly acknowledge it. There are few persons who come with notes. But prepare proper notes in your hand, especially as junior lawyers. It will help you in your future. So much for the colors in the canvas. What about the brush? The brush can be your voice. Well, God has given each one of us, different types of voice. Some would be very shrill, some would be unbearable, some would be very soothing, some would be quite a husky voice. Your voice, develop your voice in such a way that it will it will create a beautiful art. Next is your posture in court. A judge, remember that a judge watches every movement of a lawyer. Don't think that judges are oblivious of what is happening around. They see everything. They see your expressions. They see a nod of the head. And just to reveal to you one thing. While I was sitting in division bench, I don't want to name the judge. The body language of a lawyer who walks into the court is also a matter of discussion. There was a time when an arrogant entry into the court, a respectful entry in the court, would read dividends, would have its effect on the judge. Well, of late, it is not there. But in our initial years, we felt an arrogant entry into the court. As a youngster, you're always full of confidence and arrogant, you don't mind everything, that arrogant entry would have resulted in a denial of an order. This is the truth. Well, as long as it is not very harmful, then would say, all right, we'll have it on another day. I don't want to hear your case. So remember, when you walk into the court, every body language, every movement of your body is also under a scrutiny or under a scanner in a court, inside a court. The judge's vision goes all around. In this context, I must say that I have found a lot of lawyers walking towards the middle of the court, in between the desks. You have been given a position, you have been given a place to stand and argue. Stay there. While being respectful doesn't mean that you have to be servient. The moment you come forward, you are trying to be servient. You're not actually begging for a mercy to the court. You're actually pleading for a cause. You're arguing for your client. Your posture must be one of confidence, not of servility. Speak with confidence but with respect. That is what is required in your posture and in your body language. The next is address. Be good in your dress. We have these wonderful robes as an attire. The moment you wear it, the confidence that envelops you is amazing. Use it properly and with beauty. Clean dress, not a dirty one. Clean bands, clean collar. These are all things that may matter in your process of creating the beauty of this art, of this painting. I'll complete in 5 minutes. I told them I'll take not more than 15 minutes. I'm almost reaching half an hour. Courtesy to court. Every person wants the other person to deal with him courteously. Courtesy will bring in rewards. A court of law lives on the respect that is given to it. And you reap the dividends of the respect that is given. The public looks upon the courts as with respect because you show respect to the court. If the government leaders or the standing councils convey to the parties that you don't have to obey the direction of law, that is a wrong order. The judge doesn't know everything. It is incorrect. There is no respect not only to the court but also to the standing council or to the government leader. So if you become a standing council or a government leader, remember, protect the respect to the court because it in turn gives respect to you. Irrespective of what happens, if there is a judgment against the party, see to it that it is complied with. If not, challenge it. As long as it is not challenged and the stay is not obtained, that judgment becomes binding inter partes. So courtesy to court by showing respect and in a friendly manner. The next is respect to your opponent. The judge watches you. Are you respectful to your opponent? I was not respectful to my opponents many times. I know I have made a lot of mistakes. Had somebody told me in a class of this nature earlier that I must respect my opponents, it would have certainly benefited out of it. Respect your opponents because the judge is watching you. It could be one simple order that you may be trying to persuade the judge to come in your favor. That respect to, that courtesy and the respect shown to the court and to the opponent may help you in achieving that. We don't know what persuades. We don't know what persuades the mind of the court. Show respect to the opponent. And as I said earlier, the facial expressions. I just need to mention 3 more aspects. One is mentionings in court. Earlier times, we used to mention an adjournment only after any cases posted for orders or judgments are rendered. Nowadays, the moment you enter the court, you find A lot of people thronging in the court trying to make representations and mentions, unmindful of the cost list where there is a reference to an order going to be pronounced or a judgment to be pronounced. This was a tradition of this court. We have not forgotten that tradition. Mentionings are made to get postings of cases. Well, during the COVID times, there was a difficulty in getting postings. But I think off late, I may be wrong, off late, there is no restriction in the postings, in most courts at least. If you file a petition, it will come up on the third day. It should come up on the third day. Mentionings are being made without filing a petition. Mentionings are made about cases that are posted the day before to 2 weeks later. Next day itself they come up and say, I want to make a mention. Without even noticing anything, the judge posts gives a posting. Only to indulge in your request. Many times that has created interruptions in court, disturbance in court. It is not an advocacy, a good advocacy to do that. Respecting seniors and elders. When we were youngsters, we were always told the moment you see a senior standing without a seat, please give way for him. Nowadays, it's completely alien to us. Most of the juniors, 99% of the juniors do not give way for a senior. Please show respect to that senior. He has seen years of this profession, years of law. Give that respect. What harm does it occasion to you if you show respect? Never fight with your opponent. Please don't fight with your opponent. You will lose the case. You can even lose a case. Never fight with the court. As Nariman put it in his book, Before Memory Fades, you are paid not to fight with the court, you are paid to win a case. I had said this earlier. In one of the cases that was argued before 11 judges bench of the Supreme Court, in one of the monumental cases, where Farias Nariman was arguing. Amongst the 11 judges, one judge, after almost 20 days of arguments, put a very silly question. It is like after reading Ramayana asking who is Sita, who is Ram. Such a silly question was put. All the remaining 10 judges froze and was expecting an immediate attack by Nariman. But he, in his advocacy, that is his erudition and his skill and his advocacy, he immediately paused everything. He understood it's a foolish question. But his reply was this: My Lord, despite studying this case threadbare for days together, this question had never crossed my mind. May I be given some time during the recess, during the lunch recess, to reflect on this question and revert to my Lord. This actually happened. The person who was sitting as in the bench told me once about this. The judges were relieved. The judge who put the question was relieved. All of the court were relieved. This is advocacy. Last but not the least, the difference between a good lawyer and a not so good, I would say not so good lawyer, is very, very minimal. A good lawyer is able to think while he stands on his legs. And a not so good lawyer is still learning to think while on his legs. Wishing all of you the very best. This is a wonderful profession. Have a bright future ahead. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for inspiring us with your words and for taking us through different stories in understanding advocacy, a judge's perspective. Thank you, sir. Moving on, as a token of gratitude, I request the Vice President KHCAA, Bechu, sir, to present a memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Bechu, Kurian, sir. Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to invite ADVOCACY Executive Committee Member, KHCAA, to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected Chief Guest who inaugurated this CAD program, Chief Guest is Bhatti sir. Beloved Justice Bechu sir, who has delivered a wonderful speech for us today. Other judges of this honorable court, Justice Governor sir, Justice Cheif sir, my respected senior lawyers, dear friends. A warm and gracious good evening to all who is present here to attend this program. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks to one and all, especially to Justice Bechu Kurian sir, who has delivered a very deep and meaningful lecture for all of us, which was so informative today. On behalf of the Executive Committee of Kerala High Court Advocates Association Committee, and on behalf of the entire fraternity of this profession, I extend my sincere thanks to you, sir, for giving such a wonderful. Today, it was a wonderful opportunity to hear your thoughts that will surely encourage, especially the junior members of the bar, to present their cases and lead the profession and their future endeavors. Your thoughts has enlightened our minds and has shown us a new perspective in our path. I also thank the acting president of KHCAA, Bechu sir, for making this program a success. I also thank Secretary of KHCAA, T. Naveen sir, for all his endeavors in this function. I thank all the senior members of the bar and the middle-aged shining stars of the bar also, and all the junior friends for attending this function to share the knowledge and making this program a success. It will be a failure if I am just missing Advocate Uttara, who has given the life of voice to this function. So once again, thank you all. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Our profession demands an unending learning, and we all are students in this professional space. Continuing legal education is indeed a great initiative that aims at persistently imparting legal education to all lawyers. Looking forward to more of such insightful sessions as a part of CLE 2023 program. We have come to the end of the program. I thank each one of you once again. Thank you to all the dignitaries. High tea is arranged outside the auditorium. I request everyone to proceed. High tea is arranged in the second floor canteen. I request everyone to move to the second floor. Thank you so much.